The Flow of Financial Liquidity, Lessons from the Ocean. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe deeply. Let the rhythm of the ocean wash over you. The ocean, in its vastness and constant flow, holds profound wisdom, not just about the natural world, but about our inner world and even our financial lives. Today, we'll explore a concept as essential as the tides themselves: liquidity. Liquidity, in its simplest form, is about flow. It's about the ease with which we can access and utilize our resources. Think of the ocean. A single drop of water, in its purest form, is instantly accessible, readily usable. This is like the cash in your wallet, the funds in your checking account. It's readily available to meet your immediate needs. This is what we call liquid. It flows freely, like a drop merging seamlessly with the vast ocean. But what happens when that water takes on a different form? Consider a vast glacier, a vast expanse of frozen water. It holds immense potential energy, a storehouse of value, yet it can't quench your thirst in its current state. It needs time, warmth, a shift in form to become readily usable. This is akin to owning a house, a piece of land, or a valuable antique. Let me share a story about Maya, a young artist with a heart full of dreams. Maya poured her soul into her paintings, creating vibrant landscapes that captured the essence of the ocean she loved. She sold a few pieces, enough to invest in a small studio space, a place to truly nurture her craft. This studio asset was like her own personal glacier, holding the potential for future growth and creation. But then a storm hit. Not a literal storm, but a financial one. A global health crisis swept across the world, impacting businesses everywhere. The art world, like many others, froze. Galleries closed, exhibitions were canceled, and sales plummeted. Maya's regular income stream, which had been a steady trickle into her savings pool, dried up almost overnight. Her flowing current, her readily available savings began to dwindle. She had carefully budgeted, setting aside a small emergency fund, but it was designed for smaller, more manageable waves, not this tsunami of financial uncertainty. This is the conundrum we all face, balancing the need for immediate access to resources with the desire to build long-term value. How do we ensure we have both the flowing currents and the frozen potential? How do we prepare for the unexpected storms that can disrupt the flow of our financial lives? Maya felt the panic rise within her, a cold dread that mirrored the icy drop. She tried to sell some of her older paintings, hoping to generate some much-needed cash flow, but the market was saturated with artists in the same predicament. Her once cherished studio, her dream, had become a source of immense stress. She had plenty of value tied up in the property, in her art supplies, in the potential of her future work, but she lacked liquidity. She lacked the ability to access that value quickly and easily. She felt like a swimmer caught in a riptide, pulled further and further from the shore. This is where the true understanding of liquidity becomes crucial. It's not just about having assets, it's about understanding their form, their ability to transform. It's about recognizing that some forms of wealth are like the ocean's surface, constantly in motion, readily accessible. Others are like the deep ocean currents, powerful but less immediately apparent. And some, like glaciers, represent long-term potential, requiring time and the right conditions to fully realize their value. Maya, in her desperation, sought guidance. She spoke with a financial mentor, a wise woman who understood the ebb and flow of the financial ocean. This mentor didn't offer a quick fix or a magic solution. Instead, she offered understanding. She explained the importance of maintaining a balance, of having both frozen drops, long-term investments, and flowing currents, readily available cash. She introduced Maya to the concept of cash equivalents, like short-term government bonds, which act like small tributaries feeding into the main river of her finances, providing a steady, accessible flow. She explained market depth, the number of buyers and sellers readily available for an asset. Publicly traded stocks, for example, are generally more liquid than privately owned businesses because there's a much larger market for them. It's like the difference between a bustling harbor and a remote, secluded cove. She emphasized the impact of market conditions and how a bear market can make selling assets more difficult, like navigating against strong currents. She also explained the impact of transaction costs and how quickly she could sell different assets. For example, selling stocks might involve brokerage commissions and the bid-ask spread, while selling real estate involves closing costs and potentially capital gains taxes, impacting the net amount she would receive. Maya began to understand. She learned about different types of containers for her wealth. Some, like savings accounts, were like open pools, allowing her to access her water freely. Others, like long-term investments, were like glaciers, holding vast amounts of value but requiring time and patience to melt. She started to diversify. She kept some of her wealth in highly liquid accounts, readily available for emergencies. She also explored short-term investments, like bonds, understanding that these could be more easily converted to cash. She continued to invest in her long-term asset, the studio, understanding that these would take time to mature, but offered the potential for greater growth. And then, a moment of serendipity. As the world began to heal, a renewed focus on health and wellness emerged. People were seeking out holistic practices like yoga and meditation more than ever before. This created a surge in demand for the kind of services Maya envisioned providing. She was able to secure funding for renovations to her studio, not by selling it at a loss, but by leveraging its value to obtain a small business loan. This allowed her to keep her long-term asset while accessing the necessary capital to weather the storm and prepare for the new wave of demand. In fact, a woman named Elena, who had attended one of Maya's free online art classes during the pandemic, reached out to her. Elena was now a successful entrepreneur in the wellness space and was looking for a partner to create a unique wellness and art retreat center. She was impressed by Maya's talent and vision and offered to partner with her, providing the necessary capital to not only renovate the studio, but to expand it into a full-fledged retreat center. This wasn't just luck. It was the result of her holistic understanding of liquidity, her ability to navigate the financial landscape with awareness and intention. She had learned to respect the flow, to balance the frozen and the flowing, and to find her own rhythm within the vastness of the financial world. Just as the ocean sustains life through its constant movement and interconnectedness, so too does liquidity sustain our financial well-being. By understanding its principles, we can navigate the currents of our financial lives with greater confidence and ease.